Hello, today we are going to have a look at the gap fill exercise, which is part of the reading and listening comprehension of the AS French exam. And for our purpose today, we'll be using the 2015 paper, which is available on Moodle. So here is what it looks like. You've got a text with gaps in the text. The text normally refers to one of the two reading passages that you've done in the reading comprehension. It's worth 10 marks, and as you can see at the bottom, you have a box with the missing words, and you will probably find that there are some extra words which act as distractors. So this exercise is largely a grammatical exercise where you've got to pay attention to things like gender, whether a word is plural or not, verb endings, agreements of past participle, and adjectives. So the first thing I would probably do is to have a look at the words in the box and try to consider what I know about each of those words. So for example, if I look at Belge, first of all I've got two Belge there, so already I can have a doubt, is there one which is a distractor? Okay, but the first Belge it's obviously an adjective, and it's singular. So if you just write maybe by it, something like adjective, singular. And for the second Belge, this time, it's still an adjective, but it's plural. Obviously, you do it a bit tidier than what I'm doing now. Bizarre, again, it's an adjective, and it's plural. So maybe just put a PL next to it. I'm not going to write them all because I won't have the space to do it on my screen there, but obviously on your paper feel free to write by the words what you know about them, okay, whether they're masculine, singular, plural, verbs, adverbs, adjectives, etc. Cuisine, okay, what do I know about it? Well, cuisine, I know it's a feminine word, okay, so I can put just underneath femme, feminine. Dans et en, okay, they mean inside. They're very often confused one from another, so maybe that's something we need to look at. Estival, it's an adjective, okay, and straight away there I can see it's feminine. Étranger, again, this one is masculine, and it's plural. Okay, so remember that. We've got français and française, again, two adjectives. The difference there is fairly obvious. One is masculine, this one, whereas française obviously is feminine and plural. Fréquemment, okay, you've got the ment ending, so that tells me immediately it's an adverb, okay, for frequently. Au, okay, an adjective, masculine, singular. And I've got l'heure and l'heure. Now, what do I know about l'heure and l'heure? L'heure can be an indirect object pronoun, okay, this one there, but it can also be a possessive adjective, okay. If it's a possessive adjective, that's the masculine, that's the singular form, whereas that's the plural form, okay, for there. Participer, it's a verb. Participer here is in the infinitive. So if it's in the infinitive, where am I going to find it? Maybe after another verb, or after a preposition. Rapidement, again, that's an adverb. Okay, I've got the ment to tell me that. Restaurant, okay, with an ending like this, it's got to be masculine, ant. Rester, okay, rester, again, it's an infinitive. So, same question. That's probably going to be after a preposition, after another verb, something along those lines. And then I've got vient and vienne. So again, it's the same verb. It's from venir. So there's obviously something the examiner wants me to pay attention to there. Vient is the verb conjugated in the singular form, il or elle, whereas vienne is in the plural form. Okay, like il with an S or elle with an S, or with a plural subject anyway. So that's the first job I would do. Go through the list of the words, try to work out what you know about them. The next job would be to have a look at the text and have a look around the gaps and see whether I can find any clues in the text. So, for example, if I look around the first gap, I've got qui there. Now, I know that qui, I know the difference between qui and que. Que is normally followed by a subject, whereas qui is followed by a verb. So maybe what I'm going to need there is a verb. On top of that, I've also got touriste, and that's plural. So again, maybe I'm going to need a verb that's going to be in the plural form. Okay, so I need to start thinking, okay, what verbs have I got which are plural in my list? La diversité des paysages. Okay, so I've got paysage there. Again, it's plural. And I've got a verb there. So what could go after a noun in the plural? Could be an adjective. If I look at the third gap, passé, okay, and I've got vacances there, which is in the plural form. So I'm going to need maybe something plural there as well. The fourth gap, I'm told about l'histoire et là, so I've got a feminine word there. Okay, so I'm going to have to look at a feminine word in my list. So obviously you need to proceed in the same way for the whole text, but just for the purpose of demonstrating this, I'm going to do the first paragraph now. If I go back to number 1, okay, I know I've got qui, so qui can be followed by a verb, and I need a verb in the plural. So if I look at my verbs, what have I got? I've got vient and viennent in my list. Okay, if we go back, if I go back a second, so the verbs I've got are, I'll underline them in green for now, vient and viennent. Okay, only one of them is in the plural. So I'm going to try and put viennent there. Okay, so that's my first gap done. As you use a word, if you're sure that's the right word, put a line through it on your list so you remember which one you've used. Okay, the next thing, for number 2, la diversité des paysages, so I said I wanted an adjective, and because it refers to something plural, I'm going to need an adjective which is plural as well. So let's go back and have a look at my list. What have I got? I've got Belge, which is plural. I've got bizarre. I've got étranger, and I've got français. This one which could be plural as well. And that is the only one. So looking at the text, la diversité des paysages. Well, the text, really, the original text is talking about the French tourism. So it's not going to be Belgium. Also, would we say that the strange or bizarre countryside would attract people? I'm not sure. So because we're talking about the French countryside, I'm going to be using français. Okay, so this one there, because that's the masculine form. Okay, so I'm going to try and squeeze in français there. It's not going to work, but there we are, français. Ok, continue à attirer les gens, à passer, and I've got vacances there. Okay, and as we know, before a noun, you need to have what we call a determiner. Determiner is something like le, la, les, or a possessive, mon, ma, mes, leur, etc. Okay, so if I have a look at my list, well, I haven't got any le, la, or les, but I've got leur. So I know that I want I've got vacances in the plural, so the one I'm going to be using is actually the leur in the plural. vacances dans l'hexagone. After that, on a les différences climatiques, l'histoire et là. So I've got obviously there les différences climatiques, l'histoire. There's two characteristics maybe of the French style holidays, if you want. And I need something feminine. So looking at my list, what have I got that's feminine? Then I've got cuisine, estival, but estival is an adjective, so it's probably not going to go there. In terms of feminine nouns, the only one I've got really is cuisine. So I think we're going to fit that one in there. There we are, and I've done the first part. So if I look at the second part now of the document, les côtes françaises sont toujours populaires pendant la saison. Okay, la saison, what do I know about that? Obviously there's a la, so it's going to be feminine. That's a noun, and I've got a gap. What would go after a noun? Could be a verb, okay, but it could also be an adjective. So have I got a feminine adjective in there somewhere? For this one, I've got hiver, something in front of it. What could we have for l'hiver? We could have something like l'hiver, L apostrophe, ou pendant l'hiver, en hiver, etc. Les régions montagneuses sont idéales pour les sports de neige et le tourisme rural a gagné en popularité chez les touristes qui veulent. Okay, now I've got a verb there, it's a modal verb, and you know that after a modal verb, if you've got another verb, that verb is going to be in the infinitive. So maybe we need to have a little look at the words we're given in the box. Okay, so I've crossed off the one I've used in the first part. So I'm looking now for la saison. Okay, and I know it's feminine. I need an adjective. So what feminine adjectives have I got? I've got estival. I've got française. But la saison française, the French season, don't know. That doesn't convince me completely. So quite probably estival is the one I'm going to need to put there. So here we go. Okay, then hiver. What will go in front of hiver? We said it's probably a determiner or something like dans or en, and we tend to say en hiver. Oops, wrong side. En hiver. Les régions montagneuses sont idéales pour les sports de neige et le tourisme rural a gagné en popularité chez les touristes qui veulent. So I'm going to need a verb. Okay, qui veulent à la vie à la campagne. So if I've got a verb, I'm going to need to have a verb that takes the preposition a afterwards. So what could I have? I could have, in terms of verbs in the infinitive, all I've got is participer or rester. Okay, so really there I need to decide, not just on grammar, but on the meaning of the text. Okay, and I need to refer back maybe to my text. And the word that's going to go in there is participer. Qui veulent participer à la vie de la campagne. And in the third part, again, le succès de l'île a eu une très bonne influence sur l'économie. On a vu une grande augmentation dans le nombre de visiteurs. I've got a gap. That's a noun in the plural. So I'm probably going to need a plural adjective there. Dans les villes françaises, I've got française, which is feminine plural because it agrees with the ville, et. So the likelihood is I'm going to need another adjective there, which also is going to be feminine and plural. Ainsi, les trains Eurostar ont dû partir plus mots. Probably going to need an adverb there, maybe. Okay, so let's have a look at the words that I need to have. Let's go to the next page. So what have I used so far? I have used participer. In my previous one, I've used estival, I've used en, and that's it. Okay, so for number 8, I'm looking for a masculine plural adjective. So in terms of masculine plural adjective, what have I got? I've got Belge, I've got bizarre, although bizarre would we really be talking about strange or bizarre visitors in French cities? It sounds a bit strange. What else have I got? I've got étranger as well, which would fit in there. So I'm between étranger and Belge. Okay. Either could go in there really. I could refer back to the text to elicit that a bit further. But if I look at my next gap, I've got ville française, and then I know I'm going to need another plural feminine adjective there. So what have I got in terms of adjectives that would fit in there? Well, I've got française, but française is already there, so it's not going to fit in there. Belge could also be, as well as being masculine, could also be feminine plural, so that could go in there. And bizarre, but again, les villes françaises et bizarre doesn't make any sense. So by elimination, the one I'm going to put in there is in number 8 is going to be étranger. Oops. The nice. And then my other adjective, Belge, is going to go in this one. And finally, for number 10, I said I wanted an adverb. So I've got two adverbs. I've got fréquemment, frequently, or rapidement, rapidly. So we need to use a bit of common sense there. Would the trains go more rapidly, or would they go more frequently from London? I think the common sense will tell us frequently, but again, you can check that with the text. So what are you tested on with this exercise? You're tested on verb endings quite a lot. Okay, we had the example here with vient and vienne. It could be also the difference between something like peut and peut. P-E-U-X, which is for je and tu, and P-E-U-T, which is for il or elle. That could happen. Could also be tested on verbal constructions. So is a verb followed by a preposition, for example? If it is, which preposition? So we had here participer à. You could also have décider de faire quelque chose, etc. It will also test you on agreement of adjective. We had français and française, for example. And also you need to bear in mind whether it should be singular or plural. Singular or plural, masculine, feminine. We'll check whether you can make the difference between a with an accent and a without. A without being the verb avoir, conjugated, whereas a with an accent is a preposition for at or to. Through the text, there are some clues that you can use. If you look at the example below, il a la question. And I've got comprend, compris, and comprendre. So to know which one I need to use there, if I've got il a, that's the auxiliary, isn't it? Il a. So I'm going to need a past participle. The only past participle I've got is compris. So compris is the one that's going to go in there. And it works the other way as well. If you've got, in the next example, il comprit la question, compris is a past participle. So I'm probably going to need to have an auxiliary. Okay, so the a there is the auxiliary, so that's the one I'm going to need to put in there. If you've got an L apostrophe or a D apostrophe, before the gap, that means your next word is going to start with a vowel. Okay, so if we have a look there, which one starts with a vowel? It's école. Okay, so il est question de l'école. And remember that modal verbs like vouloir, pouvoir, devoir, il faut, if they're followed by a verb, that verb is going to be in the infinitive. Again, I hope that's helped you a little bit. And as we do more and more of those exercises, I'm sure that we will find some more clues to look for.